Holderness coastline extends from Flamborough Head to Spurn Head, a distance of about 35 miles. This map indicates the different towns and villages found along the Holderness coastline that still exist today, some of which I'll be visiting during this video. The Holderness coastline is the fastest eroding coastline in Europe. From this map we can see the different villages and towns that used to exist which have now been eroded away over previous centuries. The reason for this erosion can be seen on this map, which illustrates the primary rock type found along the Holderness coastline. The main type of rock found here is soft rock, and it's called boulder clay. Boulder clay is susceptible to slumping. The entire coastline here is exposed to the North Sea, with a large fetch extending to Denmark nearly 1,000 miles away. This creates destructive waves which are attacking the coast continuously. Hornsea is a town home to over 8,000 people. It has developed as a seaside resort town with amusements, hotels, a hospital and schools. Hornsea also has a caravan park, particularly popular during the school holidays.
Okay, so here at Hornsea you can see we've got big rocks, probably brought in from Norway. They're made of granite and it's called riprap. It's placed at the bottom of a cliff. Now when the waves come in, this riprap will absorb the wave energy. This then stops the waves eroding the cliff. So here I'm stood between two groins, again at Hornsea. You can see that these wooden groins extend all of the way into the sea. Now there's a reason for this. Where I'm stood, you can see that the sea is sometimes here when the tide's in. And we've learnt about longshore drift. We know that the sea comes in at a 45-degree angle, going back down at 90-degree angle, carrying sediment with it. These groins extending into the sea stop that transfer of sediment happening. It prevents longshore drift. Sometimes if you look up at the left hand side here, you can see that the beach is much higher. That's because all of the sand through longshore drift has been moved up, and then you can see the next groin has prevented any sand further being moved up. Whereas if you look at this groin across here, it's fully exposed because the sand has been moved away by longshore drift. Here you can see the difference in height. We've got a groin here and longshore drift has pushed all the sand all the way up here, but down below on the other side it's low as the longshore drift is carrying the sediment towards the next groin. These groins you can see extend all of the way along the beach, preventing longshore drift across the entire Hornsea coast. So here, right up against the sea wall, you can see that the sand is quite dry. That tells us that the sea doesn't normally get this high up, but in 1906 Hornsea had this sea wall installed. Since then it's been extended 5 times. Now the reason for that is because Hornsea's development has expanded so much they need to ensure that there is no chance at all that water could come up and flood the area. That's why they've extended this. In 1997 at Hornsea, the entire hard engineering works were reconfigured. This was part of that reconfiguration. It's a concrete revetment. You can see that it's on a diagonal angle. That's so that when the waves come in, the energy is dissipated so it doesn't erode the coastline. You can see above the revetment is caravans. That's why it was placed there. There's a caravan site which brings in money through tourism. Therefore, it's an area which they wish to protect. Now we're at Mappleton, about 3 miles south of Hornsea. Mappleton's a small village with about 50 properties. In 1990, the rate of erosion on this coastline was calculated at about 2 metres per year. That's quite a fast rate of erosion and quite a lot of land was being lost. Therefore, they needed to install some sort of hard engineering to protect the coastline. Running parallel to the coastline is the B1242. That's a road which people can access Mappleton by. It's the only road, in fact, you can access Mappleton by. And at its shortest point, it's only 50 metres away from the actual coast. That's quite dangerous because if the land continues to erode backwards, that road is going to be destroyed and no one will be able to enter Mappleton anymore. Once they'd recorded that the rate of erosion was 2 metres per year, they decided that they need to install some hard engineering. In 1991, they installed 2 rock groins and some riprap. That cost a total of £2 million. Now you can see this groin next to me, this rock groin, extends all the way again into the sea. This prevents longshore drift occurring, thus erosion, and the riprap is absorbing the wave energy so the coast isn't eroded. You can actually see along the coast that the grass has started to grow. That is telling us that it is able to grow and it is actually protected by the riprap beneath it.
Along the entire Holderness coastline are various hard engineering techniques which have been installed by the European Economic Community, Ministry of Agriculture, Holderness Borough Council and the Humberside County Council. You can also see some villages have had private funding to install some of their sea defences.
It's only about 50 miles away from the coast. 50 metres! Okay, I'll just do the B1242. So after 1990, when they realised that the rate of erosion was about 2 metres per year, they realised that they had to install... I'm starting that again. Yeah? In 1990, instead recorded that the rate of erosion was 2 metres per year. In 1990... Yeah, that was right. Why did I stop?